A very good evening to Dr. Subramaniam Govindhan, the advisor of Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India, Mr. 𝘠𝑦𝑚𝘵𝑗𝑎𝑚, the president of Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India, Mr. 𝘠𝑚𝘦𝘴𝑙 𝑆𝑎𝑙𝑎sundaram, the third vice president of Student Representative Council USM, Mr. 𝘱𝑎𝑟𝑣𝑒𝑠ℎ𝑎𝑛 Thanasegaran, the project director of Voice of Animals 2.0. Our guest speakers, Madam Sarmila Sabrina Vijayendran and Professor Dr. Valian Subramaniam. And not forgetting our beloved participants who are here with us today. Welcome everyone, I am Shaz, your MC for the talk tonight. First of all, Voice of Animals 2.0 consists of 3 separate events, which are Clean the Shelter, Feed the Strays, and today's talk, which is We Are Their Voices, organized by Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India, University Science Malaysia. Our event today will surely enhance your knowledge on animal adoption and welfare, especially during this pandemic. Trust me, this talk will truly be beneficial to you. Before moving on to the next part, let's put our hands together to welcome the Project Director of Voice of Animals 2.0, Mr. 𝘱𝑎𝑟𝑣𝑒𝑠ℎ𝑎𝑛 Thanasegaran, to say a few words.
Hello everyone. Shaz, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
A very good morning to the advisor of Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India, Dr. Subramanian Govindhan, the president of Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India, Mr. 𝘠𝑦𝑚𝘵𝑗𝑎𝑚, the vice president of Student Representative Council USM, Mr. 𝘠𝘠𝑚𝘦𝘴𝑙 our guest speakers, Madam Sarmila Sabrina Vijayendran and Associate Professor Dr. Valian Subramaniam, as well as to all the participants who are here today with us. I am 𝘱𝑎𝑟𝑣𝑒𝑠ℎ𝑎𝑛 Thanasegaran, Project Director of Voice of Animals 2.0, would like to welcome all of you to We Are the Voices talk. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my supportive team for being there throughout the program. Let me give you a brief introduction for our talk tonight. The main objective of the talk is to create awareness on animal adoption and animal welfare. Animal adoption is the primary way to brighten up most domestic animals into a comfortable life. Although shelter is a place where they are being provided with all the necessities, but can't be a companion of love for them. So I'm sure all of you tonight will adopt an animal in the future. At the same time, taking care of animals is our responsibility to ensure well-being of the innocent souls. Let all of us play our role to ensure animal abuses come to a full stop. Stay with us until the end of the talk to know more about animal adoption and animal welfare. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, where animals are gifts from the heaven for truly being the meaning of unconditional love. With the thoughtful quote, let us step into our talk tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. 𝘱𝑎𝑟𝑣𝑒𝑠ℎ𝑎𝑛. Now, let's step into the first segment. In this segment, our speaker will be talking about how to adopt animals in the right way and the primary steps to take care of them. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is the representative from Voice for Paws. For your information, Voice for Paws is a non-profit organization that strives to find homes for abandoned stray animals and educate society on the importance of spaying and nurturing animals. Founded in April 2019, Voice for Paws is not a shelter per se, but a team of like-minded people who managed a foster system for the animals they rescue. Without further ado, let's welcome our very first speaker on the day, Madam Sarmila.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, Madam. Louder, please. I think now I can't.
Is it better?
A bit loud, I guess so.
Hello?
A bit louder. Yeah, hello?
Yes, is it clear now?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Thank you, Shaz.
Okay.
Firstly, a very good evening to everyone. I would like to start by saying thank you for inviting us to participate in the Voice of Animals 2.0 program. Thank you to the Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India USM, the organizing committee, and a very good evening to Associate Professor Dr. Valian as well, and the fellow students and participants of this session.
Thank you, madam. So, madam, please introduce yourself.
Yes, can do. So my name is Sharmila Sabrina Vijendran, and I'm one of the core members who founded Voice for Pause, as mentioned back in 2019. Um, we do have a hierarchy within the NGO, but we usually work as team members together. There are 7 core team members, mostly consisting of working professionals, frontliners, doctors, journalists, as well as students like yourself, who do the rescuing, fostering, rehabilitating, and rehoming of the animals.
Oh, okay. Wow, that sounds interesting. Madam, so sorry for interrupting. May I ask you whether you can on your camera now?
I can. I'm just worried that my sound quality might go down. Am I still audible?
Ah, yeah, it's okay. So far, that's okay then.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I can see you now. Okay. Okay. So, madam, tell us about Voice for Pause and your role in it.
So what we do as a team is we usually get calls for rescuing, for example. So this can be emergencies like cases where a cat or a dog has been in an accident, for example, or there is a mother who has a litter of pups that are not in a safe environment. So as we've mentioned, that rescuing process is usually done by us. But what we have done in the last couple of years is we try to educate society on how they can help. So instead of expecting to pick up the call and say, there's an injured animal here, we try to educate society by giving them the resources of who to call to, which vet to go to, so that they themselves can help the animal end to end. That's the rescuing process. And when we rehabilitate, as mentioned, we do not own a shelter, primarily because when we set up the NGO, we agreed that we would not be able to maintain a shelter, as well as we personally believe by fostering them in a home environment, it helps them transition to adopters a bit more easier, because then they learn how to behave in a home environment surrounded by other dogs and people as well. So that's our rehabilitation process. And when we rehome, we have an adoption process. Mostly we do it online through Instagram. We are a bit well known for doing it on the online, but we also have physical drives at Bangsa every Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We are usually in front of, if you're familiar, Nasi Kandar Penang, we are right opposite in Jalan Pelawi. So that is sort of the process of how we run Voice for Pause as an organization.
Okay, wow. Okay, so I just want to ask a question. How the organization actually connect to the society via social media or advertising or news?
Good question. So how we do it is mostly to social media. As you know, with time now, everybody's on their mobile phones more often. So our targeted audience is through Instagram and Facebook, primarily Instagram for us. So anybody who wants to donate or ask us questions or need rescuing, they contact us through Instagram. And when required, we give them our personal phone numbers for them to get in touch with us. We don't do much advertising, but we have had some really kind individuals who have high followers, or social media influencers who have helped promote our organization. So that's one of the ways where we also get exposure. And our drives on Sunday, so we are quite well known because you don't often see a bunch of people standing by the road in Bangsa every Sunday. So that also gives us much good exposure, because sometimes people like to carry the dog or the cat before adopting to feel connected versus doing it online. So this is our main platforms that we usually use.
So I believe that the social media ID is supposed to be the Voice for Pause itself.
Yes, it is. So it's voice_pause _for_pause. Sorry, so it's voice.
Okay, maybe the participants can actually take a photo of this today's talk and then can post in your stories and then tag Voice for Pause organization in your social media. Make the followers list to be higher then. Okay.
That's a very good point, Shaz. Sorry to cut you short, but through exposure, like Shaz has mentioned, when you mention us or when you share, it just gives us better visibility. So next time when people think of adopting, they think of us. That I think that's the primary goal at the end of the day as well, through social media. So thank you for the suggestion. Really good opportunity for us as well. If you guys can.
Yes. So students who have really high exposure on social media, and you may do so, please. Okay. Okay. So, madam, how did you involve yourself in the Voice for Pause organization?
So the core team members of Voice for Pause were all individual rescuers in our past life. So we were doing rescuing, rehoming, and stray feeding on our own. But we came to realize that to obtain proper funding, proper exposure, and better opportunity, we needed to come together as an organization and register ourselves. It is not an easy process if you were an individual rescuer to rescue off the streets and be home, because you don't have a platform to do it. It will cost. Our vet bills can come up to somewhere between 10 to 15,000 a month, given that most of the cases can be accident. And these are after the vets have been really kind to give us a rescue rate, but the bills will still pile up. So when we came together and we again we are all working professionals, so this is us juggling between work, family, and the NGO. Apologies on the barking. So we came together and we formed Voice for Pause for that sole reason as well.
Okay, so madam, as you mentioned earlier, you told that the university students also have been the volunteers for the Voice for Pause organization. So
Yeah.
how did they contact you? Like,
so part of the core team members, they are students. So when they were also rescuers. So we have some amazing young people that do rescuing. So when I met them, I have never met a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds that want to spend the entire Sunday standing under the hot sun in Bangsa. But I've been very grateful to meet a couple of them who have become Voice for Pause core team member. They do it every Sunday with us. So they stand there, they make sure our dogs get adopted, or at least we speak to people. But if there are any of the USM students who want to reach out to us, with the current COVID situation, we are unable to accommodate big groups. But if you're really keen on helping out, we can organize something as well.
I strongly believe this because I feel like the 21st century holding this motto should be in that way, which is give your heart to the pets and they will never break your heart.
True. That's very true.
Yeah, so maybe that's the motto that 21st century students and also the children are going towards. Okay, so madam, let's move on to the next question. Talking about rescuers and adopters, what is the process from rescuing an animal to properly adopting them?
Okay. So I think there are different categories to it. So if we were to start with a puppy that's rescued, if the puppy is extremely young, the puppy is very much in demand. Everybody wants a puppy. They will even, we have even had people messages to ask, do you have newborn puppies? Without knowing that it's extremely tough to take care of newborn puppies. They are like actual babies to take care of. They need frequent feeding, and they will cry and they want attention. So if a pup is rescued, till they are vaccinated at least once, we will not put them up for adoption. And this is the similar standard that we set for other rescuers who want to use our platform as well, whether on social media or our drive. If the pup is not vaccinated, they will not be put up for adoption. There are reasons to it. One is because pups that are not vaccinated, and I'm sure our Dr. Valian will explain about this more later, but they can carry viruses like distemper or parvo, and that can spread if the adopters have other pets at home. So this is why we at least need the pups to be tested and vaccinated at least once before they put up for adoption. Now, older dogs need to be sterilized. So they need to be spayed or neutered prior to being put up for adoption as well. Similar process. Dogs or cats that have had any form of viruses or accident or have a wound, they will be healed completely. Dogs that have been in accident or cats that have been in an accident and need physio will be sent to physio first before being put up for adoption. So that is the process from rescuing to getting them adopted. Now, the actual adoption process, we have a very stringent interview process before the dogs are being adopted. So we ask very basic questions like whether you live in a landed property or a high-rise property. Do you have experience with pets? Who's going to be responsible for the pet? So we actually have a form that they sign prior to adopting our rescues. The reason being is it gives them a sense of responsibility that this is their pet. It's part of the family. It's not just, a guard dog or a cat that can just walk in and out of the house anytime. So that's the reason we have quite a stringent process for adoption as well. And we will follow up via texts and calls, as well as we will ask requests for videos and photos of how the dog or the cat is going, how the adoption process is going. And we have kept in touch with adopters for 3, 4, 5 years even, and they are very much happy to send us pictures of our rescues. So that's the rescue to adopt process that we have.
Wow. Okay. Actually, that is really something new for me because I really wanted adopt instead of buying a dog, but I really thought just go to the shelter, then give a name and then take a dog and come back and then follow up process. Never know about that.
Yeah. So there different shelters, NGOs have different processes. Ours is we don't charge for adoption. It's free adoption. That's one of our sort of promoting point as well. It is a free adoption, and our dogs and cats are vaccinated, and the older ones are spayed and neutered and dewormed and all that. But we do not charge. We really just want to get them homes. And of course, how we financially survive is through donations that people are kind enough to provide. And that's how we survive. So we do not charge for adoption. It's completely free.
That is so kind of Voice for Paws organization. Okay, so participants, if you are interested as well like me to adopt a dog or a cat, please contact Voice for Paws organization. Okay, so madam, how can society help strays? What is your point in that?
It might be very, very simple, but it's by being kind and responsible, actually. I think sometimes people forget to teach their children to be kind towards strays. There is an assumption that it's just a stray, so what kind of an attitude. So a very simple question we like to ask people is, if you see an actual human being run down by a car on the road, do you let that person just be there, or do you actually call for help? But we have rescued animals that have been in an accident and left there for about 3 days, just trying to survive till we actually go there and help the dog or the cat. So people need to be a bit more kind and reach out for help. Contact us. We are more than happy to help give, numbers of pet taxis that can help you transport this animal. Vets that will help, vets that are 24 hours sometimes. So just reach out to us, and we are more than happy to educate you on how to rescue animals. And in the future, our hope is that next time when you do see a cat or a dog that's injured, you know what to do. You have all the information. So that is essentially what we're trying to also cultivate. And another way of how society can help strays is you can actually responsibly feed strays and leave water. Now, why I say responsibly is because feeding strays does not mean, throwing leftover food in the packet and hoping they'll eat it. It's actually responsible feeding is when you feed those dogs or those cats and you make sure that there's no mess left over after that. So we usually use banana leaf for stray feeding. So we leave and we make sure after the dogs or the cats eat, we will remove that banana leaf or whatever eco-friendly plate that we use to feed them. So it's also making sure that society as a whole just are comfortable with what we are doing. You know, we don't leave a mess when we do it as well. It's just being tolerant actually with each another. So that's one other thing we'd like to actually call out.
Okay, madam. So actually, that's true. In the earth, I mean, on the earth, we are considered as like living things is plants, animals, and humans. So, but we only like thinking that animals, they won't talk, even including plants, they can't talk, they can't shout, they can't voice out, so we can abuse them or something, which is not proper at all, actually. And they have heart. They are also blessed by the God itself. So we all have to be very, very considerate. And because I believe that all of us, whoever like have Instagram and social media, like actively in social media, we have been seeing things that says.com and World of Buzz, they have posting stuff like people abusing dogs, pets, putting in washing machine, a lot of stories. And another thing like very recently happened was by the flood. Like most of the shelters, they were like gushed by the flood. And then most of the like animals, like fur babies, were actually so they were dead. And it was really, really so upset, very disappointed to see them like that. So I believe that everyone, please not like have a train or something, but consider it. Please be considerate and have the kindness to help the animals also. So, madam, let's go for the last question. What are the obstacles or difficulties you encounter in this field, and what motivates you to keep going on despite all that?
I think obstacles would be lack of space for fostering. Because we do not have a shelter, we can go up to, the core team members can go up to having 5 rescues to 17 rescues in our house. So these are, it could be dogs, it could be cats. Is we need more people to volunteer as fosterers. Fostering means it's a short-term commitment. This is also good for anyone who is thinking of adopting but isn't sure. By fostering, you will be responsible for the dog or the cat till they are rehomed. So you will learn how to spend time with them, take them for walks, and just manage them basically. So that's fostering. That's one thing that we really could always use help with. I think another obstacle is getting enough. So because we do a lot of stray feeding and those usually just come out of our own pockets. But donation of rice packets or kibbles, we usually distribute to other feeders who need it. So there are a lot of other people who feed stray animals but cannot afford to do it. So whatever donations we get, we usually distribute. So I think one of the most recent ones is this Malay auntie that was affected in Puchong by the flood, who had about 10 dogs and about 50 cats, I think. So whatever extra kibbles and rice packets we have, we gave auntie. So those are one of our obstacles, is getting enough for that. And of course, funding. I mean, I think funding comes with the territory. We will usually, our process is we post up, if there's a very huge case and the vet bills are overwhelming, we will post up how much the bill is and people donate. And we post up who donates and how much they donate for transparency purposes until we get the amount that we need to foot the bill. So those are the kinds of obstacles and difficulties that we face. And the last one, I'll also take this opportunity to promote our new TNR program. So we have done this before. And talking about difficulties is we have done trap, neuter, and release with about 60 dogs in the past. So there was an auntie who had about 40 to 60 dogs, sorry, at her place, and we neutered and spayed all of her dogs and put those who are able up for adoption. we are doing that same program again based in the Puchong area. So if you know dogs or cats that need to be spayed, or if you would like to contribute to sponsor a dog that's going to be spayed, please do reach out to us. That would be extremely helpful for us. So those are the difficulties. What motivates us as a team, I think, to keep going is it's just the animals, because it's not something that other than, I think, peace of mind and satisfaction, we don't really get much out of doing this between work, family, and running Voice for Paws. It's literally just for the animals. So we try our very best to do everything with the animals in mind. I think that keeps us going and has kept us going for the past couple of years.
Okay, so as you have briefing and explaining a lot of things, and I really have my personal lot of questions to ask you actually, and I really want to use this opportunity because I know that, as you say just now, like it's very busy to actually run an organization, and for us to get you here is an opportunity for us. So let me continue with another question. What are the qualities you and your team expect in an adopter?
That's a very, very quick question I can answer, is patience. Because people adopt today and they expect the animal to the rescue to just acclimatize themselves with the environment the very next day. Dogs, cats are very much like human beings. You put them in a new environment, they need time to adapt, they need time to learn. Patience is the key when you're an adopter. We have had people who will come and return the animal they've adopted the very next day. Sometimes in a couple of hours they'll come and return and say, we cannot do it. The puppy is barking or the puppy is biting. When you adopt a pup, it's going to bound to do that. When you adopt an older dog, of course, this is why we interview. We will ask them, what kind of a dog or a cat are you looking at? Do you want, a dog that's laid back or a dog that's very hyper? Dogs have personality too. Cats have personality too. Some of them are introverts, some of them are extroverts, some of them want to play, some of them just want to sleep. So it's just being patient and just giving them a chance. Whenever you adopt and return, it impacts the rescues as well, because they feel like they're just being passed around from one place to another. So patience is just number one, and just love them that like they are your family. We have had people who come, especially during Valentine's Day, since it's coming up, so I'm going to say it. Valentine's Day is our hit. Everybody comes and wants to adopt a pup for their girlfriend or their boyfriend, and then they'll return it. This was our lesson from the first year we started Voice for Paws. So they are not toys, they are not presents, they are family. So adopt them when you're truly responsible and you can take care of them and love them and have the patience. Then please do reach out to us. We are more than happy to rehome and find them families like yourselves. But please do not adopt them because you think it would be fun or it's a good present. Just adopt them for the right reasons.
Yeah, maybe instead of just give the pet as a present to the partner, they should bring the partner together to find out that whether they really like it and how they can make it take care of it.
It's surprised that not many people think of that.
Yeah, they will be like, I just want to surprise my girlfriend or boyfriend, but then they itself will never know compared to the person who's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's a bad surprise Valentine's Day.
Bring your partners to our drive, meet the rescues. We are more than happy. If at the end of the day you decide not to adopt, we are not going to hold it against you. We are more than happy that one extra person knows about us and have spent time with animals. Like, you don't need to adopt, but if you do adopt for the right reasons.
So there is actually some policies when we want to give back the dog or the pet that we adopt.
Yes, we usually have a penalty that we charge. No charges for adopting, but when they return, usually we have a penalty there. Also sort of a countermeasure so that people would think twice before adopting, because there's a penalty, right? When you have to fork out money, you think twice. But we do usually say there's a penalty. Not everybody pays it, but it is in the paper that they sign when they adopt. In the adoption form, it is stated there is a penalty. when you return the adopted cat or dog.
Okay, I agree with that way actually. Yeah. Okay, madam. So how can society help Voice for Paws as an NGO?
I think, like I mentioned, it is if you can help us adopt, that is priority number one, please do. If you can help us with donations of rice packets, kibbles, vet food, pee pads, those kind of things that are necessary for fostering, we also appreciate that. Most of that we do distribute to other feeders who need. If you can foster, please reach out to us and say, you know, you can foster a cat or a puppy or a dog, especially people in landed places. We would really appreciate it. And if you like to donate, you know, just reach out to us. We like to donate to our latest track, neuter, and release program. Just DM us, and we'll be more than happy to explain what the program is about to you.
Okay, madam. So, what are the things one needs to consider before deciding to adopt a pet? As you mentioned just now, it was patience and kindness. Apart from it,
Time. Do you have time for your pet? If you are going to adopt the pet and the pet is going to stay at home from morning to night alone, no one to feed, and again, as I mentioned, you'll be surprised. We have had adopters like that. They have adopted and then returned after 2 months because they have no time to feed the dog or walk the dog or feed the cat. So can you commit to spending time with them, because they also want to spend time with you, and you know, just cuddle with you, for example. So you must have time, at least some rational amount of time to spend with the pets that you adopt.
yeah, sure. That's really a good informative thing actually, and which is very important as well. Time is it's manageable, but yeah, when it
Yes.
comes for a pet, we have to give it extra attention. I believe that pets is also is a baby, so they
Yeah.
need a lot of attention. Yeah. So, madam, let's proceed with the pictures in the slides that we have prepared.
Can do. These are just some quick slides about our adoption drives in Bangsa that happens, and some of the dogs that we have rescued over the years. It's a very short slide of pictures. It's the general slide that we use. I know I've been chased for the slides by Sharveshan. I do apologize. He has been trying to contact me, but we've been super busy with the programs. But this is what we managed to pull together.
Yeah, we
So
do understand.
yeah, this is
It's not a
some
problem at all.
of the pictures of so there will be one picture you see. We rescued one of our team members who was a student at that time, had to go down a monsoon rain to rescue the dog that fell in Klang. Because even when we called Bomba refused to actually come. So he went down and got the dog himself. So it's we've been very blessed with very, very good team members who carry the weight.
That is something wow. He literally want to sacrifice his life for a dog. That is really wow.
Yeah, most of us would, I think. When you spend that much time with rescues, I think it just becomes a part of you.
I think it became like a bonding, a strong bonding.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So this is heal and foster.
So this is where our foster. So if we can't foster, we have a group of very, very, very kind-hearted people who help foster, and they make dogs or cats that are so timid or frightened, because when you're strays, you're not treated very kindly. You know, people will splash hot water at them, or beat them, or push them away. So they take some time to heal and become confident and are ready to be adopted. So these are just some of the slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is Instagram and FB posts.
Yeah, so that's our logo, and that's our Instagram. It's really tiny, but if you search for Voice for Paws, you should be able to find us. Our logo is the top right hand corner of
Okay, the dog and cat, the cat inside the dog. Yeah. Okay, so everyone, please don't forget to follow the Instagram page and also the FB page. Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose today the followers should be increasing from USM itself.
Our adoption drive that we have in Bangsa, that's our spot. So if you look for Nasi Kandar Kayu Penang, if I'm saying that right, or Helimax Bangsa, we are right opposite that, or Hong Leong Bank, we're right next to it. We are there every Sunday. We even have a drive this Sunday. So if you want to drop by, feel free to drop by from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes, we are there every Sundays. And if we are not going to be there that Sunday, which is very rare, but we will inform prior.
So,
Um,
does that like do the organization have a WhatsApp group for those
no,
who will volunteers?
we don't. We have so many groups that we can't keep track of, and we all use our personal numbers, so we don't have a group. But we are contactable through Instagram or Facebook, or directly at the drive.
Sure, understood that. So these are these.
Some of the successful adoptions of family that come and adopt at our drives, or we will go and stand if it's through Instagram. And our success stories are usually, I think, the older dogs that get adopted, because older dogs or cats are the toughest to rehome, because people just want puppies because they're cuter, although they probably take more work. But our success stories are always when we get the older senior dogs adopted.
Thank you so much for the nice moments that you have shared, the pictures in the slides there, and it's really helpful for us to like see lively that what's going on there and how it look like. So thank you so much. So thank you, Madam Sharmila, for the insightful and informative sharing session. Madam, shall we proceed with the Q&A session now?
We can. There are some questions in the chat, I think. Do you want me to
Yes.
answer?
It's from the audience. Let me read it. So the first question is, hi, how to be close with an animal that has been abandoned?
It's a very good question. So dogs that are abandoned, which we saw a lot during MCO. Again, to be tolerant, I think a lot of people lost their jobs and still tried to keep their pets, but some people just assumed their pets would survive better if they were left somewhere or someone would pick them up. You would be surprised with the number of breed dogs that we found abandoned. We found a husky that had completely lost all of his hair because of being left on the street. A Doberman that was so skinny, because dogs that probably live at home their entire life do not know how to fend themselves as well as stray dogs that have been outside their entire life. So dogs that are abandoned usually a lot of patience and love. Some of them will even start snapping at you because they feel abandoned or insecure, or become really aggressive. So it takes a lot of time. If we really can't manage this kind of dogs, we do get a personal trainer, a dog trainer, to help us with it in really aggressive cases. But mostly by bringing them back home and they mingle with the dogs that are with us in the house, other strays, rescues. With time, they become better. And once they are confident, that is only when we put them up for adoption, not any sooner.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, madam, the next question is, what are animal care tips?
Are these just general animal care tips or like strays or?
Maybe the adopted, the adopted pet, they want to adopt the pet. So yeah, so they're asking
So
for them.
do take them for their medical checkups. That's important as well. Just like humans, they also age and they will also ache and they will also have their own things. So yearly vaccinations and neck guard and heart guard, which you're advise what the requirements are for your dogs. Of course, shower your dogs as often as you can. You know, some dogs get really long coats of fur and it gets tangled. So, you know, just take care of them like you would a child. Like whatever you need to do for a child, just do it for your pets as well. In terms of food and health and care.
Maybe for extravaganza, I can bring it to the salon or manicure.
Yeah, additional charges, which is completely up to you. But yeah, just the basic, at least, you know, trim their nails and take them for their walks.
I got to see actually like the owner and the dog, they wear the same shirt and they go walk together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has their preference. Whatever makes you all happy, as long as, you know, both you and the pet are happy, go for it.
Okay, so another question is, hi madam, how to tell our pets that we love them?
It's a very tricky question. We all have our own ways of telling them we love them. They probably know we love them. But I think when you spend time with them and you play with them and just be there, I think the fact that they get adopted makes them very, very grateful and happy, because I believe personally they know that they found a family and they found a home. And that itself shows that you love them already.
Okay, so hi madam, what is a platform to voice about animals?
What is a platform to voice about
animals?
So there is the department, DVS, Department of Veterinary Services. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but DVS. So people have come to us to say, you know, I need to know there's a dog that's being abused. How can we go about it? You need to report to DVS. As an NGO, we are not allowed to go into someone's compound and just take their dogs. A report needs to be made. So proactively, you can do it anonymously. Report if you see a dog being abused, and really just use social media. If you viral it, people will know about it and someone will do something about it. So do what you can, but don't close a blind eye or don't ignore when something like that is happening.
Yeah, true. So there's a question from Kishantini Anandan. Do you only specify with dogs and cats? What about the other animals like birds or exotic animals?
We have gotten some people who come to us to put up hamsters, sugar gliders, a bird once. And during MCO, I think our best experience was we had to work with someone to help rescue a pig that fell off the truck. Yeah, a pig fell off the truck. So we had to help them to get and someone eventually did reach out to us and they went and rescue the pig and send it to a farm to live, not to be slaughtered. But we are not specialists in exotic animals, but we can help put them up for adoption through our platform, given that you have, you know, the proper certs that are required if they are exotic animals.
Okay. So may I ask, is it a good decision to get animals spayed?
Yes, please spay and neuter your cats or your dogs, because that itself will help control the population. That's what we're trying to do, right? Some dogs or cats cannot be rehomed, in the sense that it's very hard to rehome them, either because they're aggressive or they've just been out so long. They're happy to be there, you know, they know where their food source is, and some society actually do take care of their strays quite well. So they need to be spayed and neutered so that there are no more issues with, you know, puppies that are being, you know, just left by the side of the road. Or we have instances where puppies are stolen to be eaten, which we have had to go and rescue a couple of times. So it's just to avoid all of this, just the over influx of the stray population. Only way is try to and release. Now, I understand that your local council might still go ahead and catch these dogs, but we can only do that much. We have had our chance to try to speak to the councils, but it's not it's not been as successful. So what we can do from our end is to trap and neuter them and spay them and release them back. So please do spay and neuter your animals.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for the participants. Please put your questions in the chat box if you want to ask anything to Madam Sharmila here. So let's use this opportunity here. So the next question is from Ezra. Ezra. How long does it take for rescued animals to adapt with their new surroundings?
That's a good question. We usually tell you to at least give it 2 weeks, at least minimal give it 2 weeks. Again, it depends on the rescue itself and in what condition that the animal was rescued in, which is we foster and first. If the dog or the cat seems too withdrawn or scared or is snapping, we are not going to put them up for adoption, because then adopters will not understand, might not be able to understand actually. They might not be able to understand, why have I adopted a dog or a cat that's snapping at me or trying to, hiss at me or bite. So as much as we can, we try to recuperate the dogs. And then when we put them up for adoption, we tell you to at least give it a minimum of 2 weeks for them to adapt to the new environment. It's different, right? Their food changes, the environment changes, the people change. So at least 2 weeks is what we recommend. But if the doctor can tell us if that we need more time, then we can tell the doctors we need more time.
Okay, yeah, that should be that way. Okay, so the next question is from Amira. What do you think about buy animal instead of adopting? Do you support the adopt don't shop campaign?
This is a very controversial question, isn't it? Personally, this is my personal standpoint. If someone finds it okay to buy, I shouldn't be the one to judge them, because anyone can do. I mean, it's freedom, right? I cannot go around judging people for buying animals because I don't like buying animals. And again, people sometimes just don't have the exposure. Probably if you spoke to me 10 years ago when I was in high school, I wouldn't know adoption was better than buying, because sometimes we don't have that exposure compared to what we do now. So just no judgments. If someone's going to buy a dog, it's completely up to them. If they have the money to spend, they can spend. But if I assure you, all the animals bought or adopted love the same. So it's entirely up to them.
Yeah, maybe before they buy or adopt, the only thing they should have is kindness and also patience, and especially time to like manage the pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make it like you buy the pet and then at last and end up it's going to be in adoption center or something.
Yes.
Okay, madam. So, is feeding dogs only veggies and rice considered abuse?
I think this is a question for Dr. Villayan actually. So we've seen this before in the news, right? Where dogs are fed veggies and rice only. I do not know if constitutionally it's considered abuse. We feed our dogs kibbles, chicken, pumpkin, carrots. So we give them a good mixture. I personally do not know if it's considered abuse. I can check for you and get back to you on that one. But maybe Dr. Villayan would be able to give you more, shed some light on that question.
Okay, so madam, let's go for the last question.
Yes.
Okay. How we can reduce number of stray animals?
So as mentioned, the trap, neuter, and release program is one of the ways that we are trying to reduce the number of strays. Because by trapping, neutering, and releasing them, generally then there will be no issues of puppies. That itself will help reduce. And if you can rescue and rehome that will also help to reduce the number of strays. So that's the two focus that we usually have on. And do not abandon your pets. That increases the stray numbers as well.
Okay. Okay, madam. So that's the end of our Q&A session with Madam Sharmila. We hope you guys have learned ways to adopt animals via the sharing session. Also, not forgetting to thank Madam Sharmila for allocating time despite her busy schedule. It was a huge honor to have you with us tonight. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope that we will see a doctor soon from this group, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you. Okay, so all right, everyone, it's time for a 5 minutes break. So participants are required to stay in the WebEx throughout the break. Welcome back, everyone. In this segment, we have Associate Professor Dr. Valiant Subramaniam from University Technology Mara. He's also a bird and exotic animal specialist and has worked as a veterinarian in 𝘬𝘪𝘶 for 28 years. Dr. Valiant is a member of the Commonwealth Veterinary Association. He has treated many types of exotic animals like elephants, tigers, and monkeys. So, without wasting any time, let's welcome our second speaker of the day, Professor Dr. Valiant. The floor is yours.
Can you all hear me? Good evening.
Yes,
Can
doctor.
you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So, okay, you can open the cam. You want me to open my slide? There's some you all are controlling my slide there.
We will be controlling the slide, doctor. Doctor, please on your camera.
On, yeah. Is it on now?
No.
Okay. Now?
Yep, it's on.
Okay. So, you all can see the slide,
Yes, doctor.
I'll make it wait, I think that's all I can see. It looks very small. Okay. Anyway, I have spent about 28 years in the zoo. For the last 13 years, I've been teaching in UITM. For the first 4 years in the medical faculty. And now for the last 7 years, I am in the faculty of pharmacy now. And I also have my practice as exotic animal practice. It starts at 9 o'clock in the night and goes on after midnight. And when I'm off, during the days off, or when I work from home, I also get a lot of exotic animals to treat, and I also do a lot of sorry, can you hear?
Yeah, yes, doctor, can hear.
And then I also do a lot of treatment on
Hold on, doctor. I think there's an echo is coming.
wild animal trapped of all brought in by the public. So we give them treatment. We don't charge them at all. So I heard this Miss Shamina and she spoke a little bit on how to rescue. She answered some of the questions. Very interesting. Is animals of the banana tree. That's good. We're going to a bit of flood. And then question on whether to give rice and vegetables to the dog is abuse. Abuse is
Sorry for, excuse me, doctor. Sorry for interrupting. There's an echo actually going on.
Sorry?
Is doctor using two devices?
Two what?
Two devices.
I have two devices.
No, is doctor using two devices?
Then how should I do?
Hold on, doctor, because there's an echo coming on. Hold on.
Now?
I think still echoing.
Any reason now?
Hold on, doctor.
Maybe I must get to share.
Please unshare the screen and try to share the screen back. Yeah. Okay, doctor, can you please try to talk now?
I can't see my slide now.
Hold on, the screen. I mean, they'll be sharing the slide now.
I only see the participants. Okay, now.
A slightly technical error.
Okay, now. So, without much ado, I think 5 minutes I wasted on this with the introduction. I'll go straight and talk a little bit of animal welfare during the COVID pandemic and with a little bit of emphasis on blood transfusion, blood grouping in animals. So I should thank this young gentleman by name of Saravisan. Am I pronouncing correct? Saravasan Dhanasekaran.
Advision
He's the
Tanasekar.
managing director of Voice of Animals for Two. I understand that you had a previous talk, and that was on by a veterinarian by name of Dr. Theo, who talked about the veterinary profession. And he's a secretary for the Volunteer India. Some says wisest of animals, and some says wisest for paws. So any animal that have no paws are not considered in this group. Like cattle, sheep, goats, horses, cow, they've got claws, so they are not considered in this group. Only with paws. Paws means mainly with what you call dogs and cat and other exotic animals with paws, and birds does not have paws, so they've got claws. So thank you very much, and I should also thank this veterinarian by name of Dr. 𝘬𝐰𝐳𝐢𝐴, Vijay, who was supposed to give this talk. Unfortunately, he says it's in a Pongal festival, for the Matu Pongal in somewhere in Alosta, Kedah. So there's a reason why he requested me to take over. And for the last 1 week, I think this Mr. Saravasan Dhanasekaran have been continuously has been asking me, messaging, blah blah blah, and he understood that how busy I was, and the time when I speak, I have to be treating animals, and he has to be he was a bit more patient. Okay, with this, I go to the next slide. Okay, here we are talking about welfare means, you see the first one, you see birds. These are wild birds, exotic animals. These ones are very common, your companion animals. And these are the strays that you have talked about just now. Who talked about it? Samila, Sabrina, and then wild animals. So, during what has happened to the welfare of this animal during the pandemic is a very big question. Next slide, please. If I control, will be faster. So the companion animal, you can see they were during the lockdown and pause. As just now, Shamila was saying, the public were indoor, animals were outside. So this was the only occasion where when you see animals in the zoo, animals in the cage, and public outside. In this case, it's the reverse. The public indoor, the animal has a freedom to move about. So there is an increased time of contact with your pets and the animal. So this increased time during this lockdown has improved some of the animal welfare awareness for the pet owners. You must also thank the press as well as the radio, particularly I know the Tamil radio. They've been giving a lot of talks, inviting people during the pandemic on how to care pets. And there were a lot of newspaper cuttings, particularly from the Star newspaper, talking about animals and how to look after, etc., etc. So there's an improved awareness during this pandemic, and owners were taking the welfare, their well-being into a very better, what you call, consideration. So the increased number of owner and visiting the veterinary clinic has also increased. So to tell you all, during this pandemic, there was a lot of increase in medical cases in the clinic. As such, some of the veterinarians cannot cope up, and they have to, what you call, stop. Just 1 second. Hello. Uh, Pet shop during this time because the animals were not being kept. Next slide, please. Next. And here is some of the, what you call, publication done on the effect of pets on human mental health and well-being during the COVID-19 lockdown in Malaysia. And this was in a journal, and this was also written by with a person from inside Malaysia and also outside. Here, pet plays a very big role in reducing stress. You all know, especially those who have been forced to stay indoor due to the lockdown. Okay, next slide, please. Now, these are some of the educational materials that you have seen during the MCO period. The need to visit the vet when it comes to your pet health. This is a lot of what you call knowledge was shared by the media. Next. We talked about the welfare of the stray. There is a reduced public mortality because the strays are deprived of food. Usually they were fed by community feeders. All these things, I think Shamila knows about it well. So the closing of the restaurants and food courts has also caused the stray cats to be famously inhabited by the premises where they deprive of the food. Food banks are also set up by the stray by many public rescue organizations and number of veterinary clinics. The food banks. Next. Now here you can see the animal shelter feeding some of the strays, during this MCO. See people go there with the motorbike and whatever food they have, they eat. Because these strays has also, you can see them in many places. You can see in Buddhist temple, you can see in Hindu temples, but you don't see them in mosques, you don't see them in churches. And you can see all over the place, the market area now. And then this rescue organization, they lacked fund to manage the shelters and to attend. And some of them are asking for money. Once the lockdown gradually was lifted, the scenario reversed back. Thankfully, it was good. And also people have taken advantage of this situation and collecting money for themselves. That is also another issue. I must also thank, there is in this talk, I think there are more than 350 participants. And I should thank the university, USM, particularly the volunteer of the Indian group, making this effort. And I should be thankful and grateful to you all at this age, at the age of 20, most of you are the age of 20 to 25, able to look after this animal, and you're sacrificing and doing a lot of help. It should be part of the veterinary faculty students, which also they're doing, but you are also coming and helping more, wisely and gracefully. Next slide, please. Now, these are some of the frontliners in the aid of the stray. These are some from the newspaper clipping. So here you see there was a rescuing cat, a dog, where a policeman rescued a puppy from the dish, and now it gets back into the group. And these are some of these poor sensitive friendship during the live. And these are some of the press release which I had it with me and I clipped it together. Next, please. Food bank for cats lovers. And then Kota Kinabalu Clinic offers free cat food. Doctor want to help to ensure the pets are not abandoned during the CMCO. Okay. This is the role of veterinarian in the welfare during the MCO. Next, please. Yeah, next. Now, coming to, we already spoken about exotic, companion animal. Now we go to wildlife and exotic animal. Most sighting of wild animals was seen in Malaysia, not only in Malaysia, throughout the world. You have heard about the story of the elephants movement in China. You have seen this movement of animals in India and many, many places. Most sightings, in Malaysia, I particularly will pay attention to Peninsular Malaysia, and you see a lot of tigers. Tigers has come out, leopards, tapirs, and some of the endangered Malaysian wildlife are crossing the highways, through this forested area. There were increased number of sighting of macaques, wild pigs, and this is due to less human activity and the human conflict due to the lockdown. So there is an increased opportunity for these animals to feed. We have also noticed in animals in captivity in zoos, they have also, those who are not bred, they have the tendency of breeding. So they have natural mating and breeding. So what you can see that, for example, I'm in UITM, we have culled about 66 wild boars. Then we have also culled about more than a few hundreds of macaques, particularly long-tail and pigtail macaque. And we have seen snakes, pythons, other species like lizards, and then also small cats in the campus, because the campus was a wildlife area and no human movement. So the animals were all coming to the road and having a so-called as the morning sunlight, getting the vitamin D3, including also reptiles and snakes. Next, please. These are some of the wildlife sighting lah. We can see the wild boar as at the students what you call hostel, all the students college lah. You can see the pangolin, the black panther, and the pigs, and some of you see the small the cage there. I don't know. I don't have the pointer. You all can see. The pointer here is a piglet got trapped. But these are the things we are trying to remove it from the campus. Next, please. You all can see the slides. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
we can see the slides.
For me, talking like this, I don't like this type of talking on the air. Look like I'm talking to a devil or something, And we don't enjoy lah, like what we see usually. This is a history which has just happened. We were out for a lunch, and then on a Friday, we were coming to the campus. This is the main campus road. We saw a piglet was struggling for death, and a car has knocked it, and then it was very hot sun. So we took the pig and then put it near to the shade. This is one of the postdoc students from India. This is one of my horticulture friend, and this is Dr. 𝘱𝑦𝘵𝑚𝑚 from Sunway University. We left it there and we gave some water from the bottle to drink, and then within second it died. Then I checked at the teeth, and these are the teeth. It had milk. That means it has got some of these piglets, the babies around there. So it died, and this was a Friday. So I have to get it to be disposed it off. This is when this is me. We are all looking at at the campus of UITM for exotic animals. This is a lizard, monitor lizard, been trapped in one of our building. Next. The strays rescued during the MCO, all these animals which you can see. So I had an opportunity that there was a dog which has badly been hit by a car, and then took it to a clinic. The bill came to about 78,000. They can't continue to treat in the clinic, so they brought it to another clinic. And here I've taken this. I took stem cell, and we are injecting stem cell for the wound to heal. So the wound was like this, and after stem cell, you can see how the wound is healed. Next, please. Yeah. What happens when you come back to the zoos? They wanted public to help in terms of money, but I was telling them to give in terms of food or in other need Because normally when they give money, it's all been not used well, abused. So zoo animals and parks face a shortage of income. So during the time there's no this thing, without income they can't run. And there were some enclosures were permanently closed, and numerous companies has came forward, and particularly the Malaysian public has donated a lot of things like food, including the government as well as the wildlife department and some of the necessary supplies for the zoo animal. Next, please. This is a milky stock, painted stock, which was rescued in the tall building and hid, and somebody has rescued, and then when they call me, I say to bring it back. Next. Yeah, next. This is, I'm going to talk about a little bit of COVID in animals, particularly in zoo animals. These are these animals which are prone to COVID. Okay, this mostly includes the primates and the felines. Next, please. Yeah, there was a study in the companion animal, particularly dogs and cats, in 3 universities. One was in the Netherlands study, another one is the University of Guelph, Canada, and the third one is locally from UPM Serdang by Dr. Farina Mustafa Kamal. They did the positive cases of COVID, and they found that 5% of the cat had COVID in Malaysia, and they acquired from COVID patient. And these are overseas studies in Canada. The figures have been shown there, you all can read it. And this is in a mobile clinic where they did in Netherlands under the Dutch Stray Cat Foundation. So I don't want to go into the detail of it. There were about 4.2% were positive. So the figures not necessary for you to remember, but you can under this slide You should know that if COVID patient handle their pets, they can transmit COVID to pets and pets. Next, please. Yeah. Experimental research. In term experiment, we can induce COVID in all these animals listed here. Today I had got 2 CVETs, I also tested 1 CVET for COVID-19, but were negative. So and this particular time, you can take this confidently that animal does not play a significant role in spreading SARS-CoV-2 to people. It's only people that transmit to the animals. So based on the available information, the risk of animals spreading COVID to people is considered to be very low. Okay, next, please. This is COVID in the Malaysian pangolin. So they were saying that they are also carriers of COVID virus. So they did a study and then they found out they were all negative to the COVID-19, and the report says they're not a possible carrier for viruses. So as long as the Malaysian wildlife are concerned, to date there is none has been reported to be carriers of COVID. And again, in China, when they say by eating that seaweed and all that was COVID, the number of tests they did, most of them were negative. So I do not know how they could blame the animal. But at some stage, either they could have detected, I don't know about it. Okay, next. So far, y'all can follow me, or y'all are sleeping, or y'all are doing something else?
No, following.
Sure.
Yeah.
Later,
I just
unless
heard about the COVID that it's not affected by the animals. So it's
I
a
see.
false
That
thing.
means you're keen, lah. What about Dhanasekaran? Huh?
Sarvesh,
Okay,
are
now
you
we
sleeping?
come to the confirmed COVID cases in zoo animals, particularly zoo animal. The first one is the Santiago Park. We had with the white-tailed deer, the dates are there, the snow leopards, and then the gorillas. In Bronze Zoo, the first thing we talked about, the Malayan tiger was being infected. So here what happens, the zoo officials suspect that gorilla got infected asymptomatically by a zookeeper who tested positive for the virus. There is no reverse zoonosis in this particular case. One thing you should know that some of the developed countries, they do give this, they reveal this, what you call cases. But some of the Asian countries, they keep it to themselves and they don't want to reveal, thinking that it's a bad publicity. Next slide, please. Yes. Who's controlling the slide? Is basically
Other event. What
okay.
event?
Yeah, next we come to the Chennai. Chennai is the Madras Arinya Anna Zoological Park. This is the Vandalur Zoo, very big zoo, about 5,000 acres. I've been there many times. I know from the development till now. There they had it in 5 May. 15 hybrid lions were tested, and 9 were positive. India, no doubt, is the only country in the world blessed by God. They have both the Gir lion and the Indian tiger, the Indian tigers, the Bengal tigers. No other countries got both the cats. In Asia, the lions are seen in the Gir forest of Gujarat, and then the African lions are seen in Africa. So 2 died and 7 recovered after intensive treatment for 2 months. They did not find out, no proof how they contracted, whether it's from the zookeeper or the gardeners. They were tested, they were negative. And I've been in communication with the head vet of Vandalur Zoo, that is Dr. Dhanashekhar. They all my juniors. Okay. One thing you'll be asking, why is only hybrid lions? Unfortunately, all the lions in captivity in zoos in India are hybrid lions. So very difficult to get purebred Gir lions. We were fortunate enough in Zoo Nagara. We had very good, a good population of pure Gir lions. We bred from the 3 animals given by late Jawaharlal Nehru to the late Prime Minister Tunku Abdul Rahman. About 16 animals were bred. Okay. The rest of it, when you got question, you can ask me. So I don't want to go in very much detail. Next. Looking at the time. When it comes to in India, the Gir lion safari, North India, positive cases confirmed that the zoo official don't want to release the number. Then this Ranjin Zoo, the Bhawan Zoological Park, Deaths were recorded due to COVID. Numbers they couldn't confirm. And this 𝘸𝑪𝑗𝑗 Zoo in Sri Lanka, 1 lion out of the 4 have been tested positive. This is in 2001 June. And in Rangunan Zoo in Jakarta, 2 male mutton tigers. And in the zoo in Belgium, 1 hippopotamus. And last one is in Singapore Zoo, African lions. When in animals, when you put 2.3 means, it is not ditto, 2.3, 2 male, 3 female. Normally the male comes first. The African lions were 5, and there were 9 girl lions were positive. Now, if you look at the population, this compared to other countries, the Singapore Zoo outbreak is considered to be the highest. But they don't want to release much data. They are a bit scared about the adverse publicity. And it is from the keepers they got this COVID. So far in the Malaysian zoos and parks, we have not yet detected any COVID-19. Next, please. This now here, and then this Sharmila Sabrina Vijendran, she spoke about a little bit on the flood. There were 2 floods particularly affected. I mean, number of areas have been affected. In the Klang Valley, one is the Sri Muda, and the other one is the Ulu Langat area. Here, what happened, we have the organization from UPM, the veterinary faculty. They had this clinic, mobile clinic Veterina Bergerak, mobile clinic, and with the help of the Malaysian Veterinary Medical Association and the Malaysian Small Animal Veterinary Association with UPM, they had a flood relief for pets. So they put on some for donation, and this particular time they received so much of money, and a lot of trucks will be donated by companies. A lot of companies donated food, particularly like KM Vet and what they call Hills from Animal Medical Center, and then a lot of private clinics also took these animals to help at a very subsidized rate, and many of the veterinarians helped, as well as the teaching clinical veterinarians, veterinary students, and also SPCA. Without SPCA, we could not have done this very drastically. And we have seen that there were more dogs in Sri Muda and less cats. But in Ulu Langat, there were more dogs and very less cats. I mean, more cats and less dogs. Sorry, the other way around. And some families, they have got as far as 54 to 55 cats, and many of them were caught in the, flood, and some have died, some have gone to higher place. And you must also know that they're doing, the veterinary department is doing counting on all these animals that died, that food producing animals, particularly like goats, sheep, cows. I know in Bentong, in one farm, about 20 pig fowls were washed away by the rain, and about 60 goats were all washed away by the flood. So like that, there are quite a number of other places, particularly in Kuantan, Temerloh, all has been washed up. Next, please. Yeah, this is some of the slides. You show how the volunteers and the veterinarians at work at this Ulu Langat. Okay, but if is any veterinarian is following this, I can mention this name. This is Michelle. This is secretary. This is what do you call a friend, Dr. Gunalan. This is another animal rescue center, rescue people. Next. Yeah, next. So these are some of the slides. You can see how they're treating in Ulu Langat. Okay, they put a temporary camp, Okay, that's it. Now we come to animal blood donation. Here again, Salvation Dana Sekaran wanted me to talk about blood donation. This is something different when it comes to blood donation in human. Human is a very established blood donation with blood bank, etc. So both cats and dogs can donate blood, and also exotic animal also when it comes to a donor we select. Now the ideal donor should be very healthy, as you know, like in human case that the age of the animal must be 1 to 5 years. They should be vaccinated, good temperament, and from the same home, they reduce any of cross infection, and there should not be any stress to be involved. And next slide, please. Here, your requirement from dogs is to donate. So what happens? Most clinics they have a donor cat or a donor dog only for donating. They will keep this dog for donating our blood. Nah? But there is clinic. I will show you in the next slide. Next coming slide, where they do it in a very massive. Hold on, bring back the previous slide. Where over, the amount of blood you can collect over 25 kilo, we can donate about 450 ml per visit. The requirement for cats to donate, and that is the amount for every over 4 kilo, 20% of the cat's blood can be taken up. Okay, and then the same like in human, we do keep them in blood containers. We have been specifically made the same like for the human, and these have been stored in good refrigerated temperature. Next. These are the animal blood donation, the grouping. Cats have similar blood grouping like human, like A, B, and AB. Dogs have several other blood groups. These are the groups, And unfortunately, there's not much work done on this in Malaysia. Okay. And then these groupings that we see here is all been done in the United States now. The data were taken from a textbook in the United States. Okay. And for the first time when you donate a blood, the donor, you can do it well by just matching the blood, cross-matching, and see there's no agglutination taking place, the compatibility, and then you can donate. When it comes to the second donation for the same animal, then you have to look at some other parameters. Okay, next. In Malaysia, as I told you, we don't have a blood bank for animals like other countries. Big practice in Malaysia, as I told you, keep a few dogs and cats as donors. And some of them, they go to the animal shelter and they take a dog and then they take blood. The website has been set by a doctor by name of 𝑘𝐿 Ling, and she assists in donating, and requesting animal for blood donation. And this is Malaysian blood, pet blood donor. This is she, which is there on the picture, and this is the 𝑘𝐿's animal clinic in Ampang. So they are doing that. So the more and more veterinarians been generated, and more of them have got very good techniques of exploring things which not been done by the senior veterinarians. Here they go in. So sometime when you want to donate blood, you find that normally blood donations are done like in human, in severe accident cases, loss of blood, and in severe parasitic diseases where the RBC is broken down or it's hemolyzed and it is in very bad anemia. So that we have to pump in the blood. Next. Okay. Are you happy with this Mr. Sarvesan Dhanashankar with his blood donation?
Yes,
Maybe
doctor.
the question.
Yes, doctor. The information are very new for us.
I see. So you want me to say more? Then you tell me over the question time. Now we come to the little bit of first aid that you should know, because there's now what's the name of, she called us a madam, must be Miss, isn't it? A Miss and Mrs. Sharmila Sabrina Vijendran. I could remember. She talked about a little bit of first aid and how you can do in animals. So some of the things like poisoning exposure to toxins. Normally, like cleaning products in the houses, like the rat poison, these are the things exposed to animal. And you must look at the label given to on the container, on these products. They always say take it to a veterinarian or to a human doctor. Normally, you can use atropine to reverse it. And then there must be immediately be taken to a veterinarian. So that most of them, they go into seizure or they lose unconsciousness, difficulty in breathing. Okay, so these are many products. Normally, this is quite common in exotic animals, particularly in monkeys, primates. They go simply eat whatever we get. Next, please. Yeah, going within the time coming. Yeah, the first aid is some of the basic thing how you look, the seizure, the time of seizure. So do not restrain the pets when they're in seizure. You know why? They can bite you, they can scratch you because they don't know what they're doing. Once the seizure stops, then keep them in a warm place. Then you contact help from veterinarian. But some of we see the problem in Malaysia. I would say some of the Asian countries in Malaysia, we have the qualified veterinarian. Down the lane, we don't have other group. Like we don't have the technicians, we don't have the nurses, we don't have the what you call keepers or the workers very well trained. In countries like in Australia, America, Canada, all the white developed Commonwealth countries, they have this type of people. Some of the nurses are so trained, they can do it very good job. Even what the veterinarian cannot do, some of the nurses can do. So here is a lab, it's a gap, the veterinarian, then down we have only the workers or the laborers. In some clinic, now they are slowly, some clinics are introducing this. We have the Malaysian Small Animal Veterinary Association has introduced some of these nurse training courses with Australia, and they get this training and then they get attached to some clinic and then they have home. So keep away from objects like some of the furnitures. Furnitures means like cages or sharp objects, and then keep. No, I finished this slide. Okay, next slide. Okay, muzzle your pets, muzzle them, and then lay it on the flat area, and then always get a blanket to close them up back, and then either you can make a sling to handle them. Normally, in terms of this seizure, you can take some clothes, So normally, if you go to shelters, they now want newspapers, they want rags, all these the students can donate. So some of you are already doing this under this wisest for animals or wisest of pets. The word wisest look like what the other word wisest cannot, okay, next slide. The other one is actually see any external bleeding, then use tip gauge, apply pressure. Whenever you see any bleeding, and don't get panic. So most of you all, when you see blood, we get panic. Now, just clean it and take an ice pack and put it up in that. And then you can, with ice pack, you can bandage him up. And then the bleeding will stop. If at all is required. And then some of these people, particularly the Indian, they will use turmeric powder. Turmeric powder also helps in clotting. It is also a good antiseptic, can be used. Next. Now, when it comes, next when it comes to burns, again muscle, flush up the burns, and then you must use large quantity of ice water. Don't go and put other thing like what do you call toothpaste or cream, all those, but bring back the temperature from a very high temperature to the normal temperature. Ice is the best. Okay, quick ice and compress it on the area where it's been burnt. Next, choking. It's common. You make it calm, and then you should have some tweezers to twist. Normally, choking is by animals, cats very common. By eating fish, the fish will get choked inside, and dogs by giving brittle bones, the bones will crack and then will puncture the esophagus. So these objects should be removed. But when these foreign bodies are inside the mouth, the animal, particularly any dogs or cat, will be salivating excessively, and there will be stress, and you will get also more panic. The more they keep panic, will be problem. So you take it to a veterinarian, they will sedate it and remove any object that can be removed. We call it as foreign bodies. Next. Then heat stroke. Heat stroke is very common because now for the last 1 week, very heaty because we're towards near Pongal. In Pongal period, this time the sun is too strong. And never leave your pet inside the car, just like a child. Don't leave it in the child and leave it unattended, just putting on the aircon and go. No. You must put in, you must take out the dog or a cat near to a shade, and wherever it's very hot day, try to take a small container, whatnot, try to give some water to drink. Should not be in the direct sunlight, So when you detect it of heat strike, the best is to put hot or what they call cold towel, or either you can use cold water to run down the abdomen, and a little bit of massaging can be done. So heat stress is one of the things which we normally see when animals are brought to the clinic, and then they keep it in the car. I have a lot of stories about this heat stress which I have undergone with animal. People have brought animals to me. Next. Okay lah, I think this Saravasan Dana Sankaran. I don't know within the time, I think 40 minutes. Thank you very much. Again, thanks to this so-called project director for the project director of the Wise for Animal. That means you are Swara lah, for the Swara for Haiwan for from USM for your continuous effort in getting me to speak in this group. Unfortunately, you're lucky. I did not have any case tonight. One hamster guinea pig is on the way. With this, I thank you very much. I wish you all the best, and I hope, I pray that you will have more energy. As I see, most of you all are within the age group between 20 to 25, and I heard that you all doing work in Bangsa and other places. The more help you do for the animal is much better. You will be blessed. You will be guided by God, and the nation may improve, because you all should remember what Mahatma Gandhi said, and I put these things in most of my talk when I gave this ethical talk. The nation is being judged by the way that we treat our animals. Here we are killing our tigers, and we are killing all our our pygmy elephants in Sabah. That is how bad this country is now. And people are shooting, killing, eating, and this is something we cannot stop, but we can stop. But as we say just now, Shamila, Shabina, she was saying that with the continuous education, awareness, they may increase now. But I see with the younger generation, I'm now 69 years old. You can compare to our age at our time in the school, way back in 1960s or 70s, and now way back in the 2020s. A lot of things are different, and things have changed. Okay, with this note, I thank you very much for your kind attention. How many have been listening to this talk?
319.
Oh, 319. Yeah, exactly. You're correct. I see the different people, different, all the Malaysians are there.
Yep.
Malaysia means the whole MIC group is there.
Because kami merupakan suara haiwan, so yeah, we are here to help the haiwan.
Yeah, there is Malay, Indian, and Chinese. That's MIC lah. So you must change MIC logo to this group lah.
We are together in it.
Sorry?
We are together in it.
Okay, if there's any questions, don't be afraid to ask, because I've been well versed in this for the last 40 years in every sort of things. You can ask, but don't get shy lah. Don't be shy not to ask any question in this chat group or whatever it is.
Yes, participants, please send your questions in the chat box.
You all understood what I talked? You all feel anything like Greek and Latin?
We do understand, sir, what you have talked. It was actually new information, especially the blood donation. It was actually very, very interesting. I never know that animals can do blood donation. Maybe I'm less of exposure in that, so yeah. And I was so surprised about only some clinic, they have the particular animals to donate blood. Like, why they have specific donor animals?
Specific animal, Specific means cannot lah, dog to dog, cat to cat lah.
That means they have like a limited animals in each clinic. That's what you have mentioned just now.
I said because the demand must be there. When you do a blood transfusion, then the fee may go up, and then they may not able to pay. So some they don't want to do a blood transfusion, you know.
Okay.
Some
So,
there are again two components. There are some very what do you call affluent people. They want everything to be done. There are some in just very mediocre people, the low income group people. They say don't want that payah lah, you know.
yeah.
They want to get them to sleep.
Okay. So, doctor, there's a question from Darshan. What are best practices overseas to curb unwanted animal birth?
Best practices in overseas. Rephrase the question slowly.
Maybe the practices that they implement in overseas to curb the unwanted animal birth.
The only thing lah, the thing that you say that who Sharmila, you said about the strap and neuter lah, and release method. Here the veterinary department is not in favor of the strap, neuter, and release method because they said after neutering, we must observe the animal very well in case the stitches give way or any complication. Now that is one case, one problem also lah. So normally to overcome that, each of these district must have this what you call pounds or animal shelter. We had this before you all were born. In the 1950s, 60s, we had it in Penang. Penang was one of the first place they had it near Penang. And then now they have in Taiping, they have Port Klang, they have Malacca, they had. So very slow. I mean, as the what do you call as the age increase, as we go on, we start closing all these pounds lah. You know, sometimes like when they catch the stray or unlicensed dogs, or even like cattle, sheep, and goat, they impose a small fine and then they release it lah. But here, what happens? Some of the local authorities they just catch it and then they kill it in a very brutal manner. So that is where the action should be taken and where the department should come to make the laws of the local council to be uniform. I'm not answering your question. Your question was what the
practices that they actually like practice in overseas to curb the unwanted animal birth.
Oh, that's what we are all doing here, looking for good what do you call shelters, good homes, and etc.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. There's another question from Masan.
Yeah.
Is a raw diet generally better for dogs than a cooked diet?
Raw diet versus a cooked diet,
Yeah.
Yeah, this one, let me put it very well. When you give a raw diet, the animal will become very wild. That means the tendency for it becoming very fierce in biting people is there. If you give a cooked diet, that means you see that some of the hormones from these muscles are not been taken in by the animal. Okay, that it looks like more of a human type of diet. But however, what I've been saying, whenever you give bones, whenever you give joints of bones of animals like sheep, goat, or pig, etc., you must give them fresh lah, not cooked lah. So there you can see it'll eat all these gelatin, it'll eat all the capsules, it'll help in for this health lah. In my dog, I give them pig bones, particularly the joints. I give them raw lah, and my dogs are all well controlled lah. So there is a conception, there is a there's an understanding that if you give anything raw, it will become wild. Similarly, if they have exotic animals, say for example like civets, pump civet, or any type of civets, or even for a matter of what do you call cats, like the civet cat or the small cat, people want to cook and give the food. So we will tell them, don't cook and give them raw. By giving it, you have all the vitamins in it. With raw, with all the blood it eats, it's very nutritious for the animal, and it's very more of laxative in nature. Whether you will give this meat, you can compare with beef, compare with chicken, and then with pork. If we give horse meat, the animal will undergo diarrhea. No, not diarrhea. It should have clean the gut line, because the meat of horse or horse meat is very heaty. If we take like goat meat, is not heaty. If you take pig, not heaty. Chicken, not heaty. So these things like heaty meat and non-heaty meat, it varies according to the ethnical group. The Chinese has got their way of interpreting, the Indians has got their way of interpreting, and the Malay friends have got their own way of interpreting. So they always says, we will never encourage them to give all the time raw meat. When you give raw meat, it will develop the fierce, they'll make the animal very fierce. Sometimes they can go and catch wild birds, they can catch squirrels, they can go and do some hunt. Okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, next
I
question.
understand. Yeah, I understood with the raw and stuff.
Mm.
Okay, doctor, so let's go for another question. Does not providing the right diet for animals can harm them? For example, some people feed dog only veggies and rice. Would it harm the dogs?
We don't harm the dog, it will develop some deficiency. Develop some deficiency. But it's also good that you give vegetables to the dog. In my case, I have my dog where I can give as much as maximum 50 hibiscus flowers. They can consume all the hibiscus flowers. Even the hibiscus buds, before it's been bloomed, they will consume it. And you look at the feces, will be very shiny. Okay, and rice. If it's only just rice and vegetable, we can say it's a poor man's food, lah. Poor man's food. Not all dogs are very affluent, can get everything what they want. If you look at the small toy breeds like poodles, all those toy breeds, they are very, very choosy. You can't feed them like what you feed to a stray dog, or even with unidentified breed of dog. So
Okay.
again, it depends on the owner's willingness. What they can do, they can cook and give, or they can add some meat, some bones, etc., etc. And if they were to give pellets, you have to sometimes use different type of pellets. Don't stick to one brand. Use different brands, and sometimes you can mix with the dry food with the wet food. Mix it together. Normally, if you give a wet food to a dog, they love wet food than a dry food. The dry food, once it goes into the stomach, it will bloat up, just like we eating chapati or roti canai. After going into the stomach, with the water, it will swell up. Okay, and then you should give plenty of water to the dog. Okay, so will be very tasty. If you don't give too much, if you don't give enough water, then you'll have constipation. Okay, there's a question somebody said about parrot. What is that?
Okay, so the question is actually how can I properly care for my parrot?
Now the word
It's
parrot is
50 hibiscus flowers per day.
Oh, then 50 hibiscus flowers is given to my dog, my dog. Then certain dogs, after a certain age, they don't want to take vegetables. They don't take vegetables. Now the caring of parrot is like this. The parrot, there are hard-billed parrot, bigger parrot, and smaller parrot. It's a very long story. That caring a parrot, it's a 3-hour lecture. The topic, in simple points, you should prepare your own food. Number 2, you must give the food early in the morning. Then in the afternoon, you must give enrichment materials, and you must give other vegetables for him to eat. Then you must give a lot of play toys. After 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, all food and water should be withdrawn, and the bird must be sleeping, and they should be up at 7 o'clock. So I will always advocate at 7 o'clock, try to give Yakult, or if you don't have Yakult, you can give yogurt. This will help the good probiotic. And then some birds, they love Horlicks. You can mix Horlicks and let them to drink. And then you can buy all the cereals, and then you cook them and give. So different age and different parents, we got different method of feeding. Okay, next question.
Yeah, so okay, doctor, the last question is my blood group is type is zero, I mean O negative. Can I donate my blood to the animals or prioritize the human first?
Oh, the mean human blood to animal ka? Human blood to animal.
Yes, humans
No
too.
way lah. Cannot. Only human lactating women, they can breastfeed primates. For example, if you take the Aborigines or Orang Asli of Malaysia, if they have a gibbon, they have a siamang, they will get breastfed to a lactating lady lah. Then that can be done. But it is not ethical to do it. Then you cannot say that, so Reliance said, go and breastfeed all the monkeys. Cannot. That is in severe condition where you don't have any milk with them lah. Okay.
Okay.
So I thought somebody will ask this question, using human blood to transfuse into animal lah. No way lah. It doesn't happen, and nobody has done it. And maybe if you want to do it, then you can do, as I told you earlier, that not many people have worked on the blood grouping and on how you do the matching of the blood, etc., in detail. Maybe somebody has to do a dissertation lah for this, particularly in dogs. Again, also when you do on dogs, different breed of dogs lah. Again on cats, it's very easy. If you were to do blood transfusion from a stray to another stray, from a stray animal to another dog, which is not very specific species, narrowness is there lah. Okay, so that you can't go and give this to what you call Doberman, or you cannot do it with a Pomeranian, or even with any toy breeds of dogs lah. Similarly, also with cats lah. See, the more sophisticated the breeds are, the less resistance they have in that. Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, doctor. Actually, that's the end of our Q&A session with Dr. Velayan.
Okay, thank you very much. And once again, I thank every one of you all for the effort you have put in from 7:45 to 10 o'clock, and the effort you have made to get this prepared and get this successfully going on.
Okay. Thank you, doctor.
Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Yeah.
Stated just now, we have to use the back door.
Yes. Yeah, back door.
So that's the end of our Q&A session with Professor Dr. Velayan. We hope this sharing session has enlightened you guys on animal welfare during the pandemic. Okay, guys, don't leave first. Up next, we will have a quizzes game session to test your knowledge from our sharing session just now. Participants can use the link given in the chat box to enter the quizzes page. Participants can use the code shown on the screen to join the game. Be quick because our game is limited to the first 100 participants only. Please be reminded to use your full name when joining the game because winners will be chosen at the end of the session. Please enter the game using the link that is given in the chat box, everyone. First come, first serve, only 100 places. Then we have exciting prizes and gifts. $29, $30, $70 more to go. As I said, first come, first serve, okay? We are 319 over here, so grab your chance. Please type your full name. Please use your full name when you enter the game. My name is Dio. Is that your full name? If it remains, then my name is Dio. Unfortunately, if you win, then you're not going to get the prize. And I'm so sorry. HZ. Guys. Miss Rabbit. Okay, please don't turn into a pet or animal. Please stay as a human being. And please write your full name. FYH. Please change your name. Guys, we are blessed with good names, okay? Our full names are really like so nice on IC, so please just write it. Even a good nickname is okay. Okay, I wonder what is ZHN and RF stands for. Alamak, money. Right. $73, $30 to go. I mean, 20. Okay. What? Architecture? What is so torturing now? Chill, everyone. Mr. Architecture, please change your name to your full name. Your real name. Mr. Dash 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 and K, please change your name to your full name. Are you guys literally putting your initials there? Suppose not, your fathers are playing, right? Please don't enter your initials, please. Please put your full name. Okay, so we're going to start in 90 participants because of since the time is limiting, and we need another one participant to enter. Yes, done. Okay, lucky for the group. Okay, let's go for the first question. What are the animals that are not allowed to be adopted? Dogs, cats, snakes, turtles. Don't follow the traditions and click the answer turtles, okay? We can adopt snakes. If you heard the talk just now. Okay, time's up. Let's see the leaderboard first. Ui Chia Ting, Parvati. Parvati got 950 points. Okay, the correct answer is snakes. Let's go for the next question. What does it cost to adopt from a shelter or a rescue? Remember everyone, Ms. Sharmila said it depends on the shelter itself. Okay, so not all shelter gives it for free. Maybe 20 to 50 ringgit budget. Maybe 50 above because dogs are expensive. Did I give the answer? So yes. Okay, so Muhaimin, 1910 score. Okay, it depends on the shelter. Yet there are people who put the answer 50 above. It's okay. Okay, next question. All animal shelters are the same. As go for the blood donation just now, humans cannot donate to the pets. And yeah, is that true? All animal shelters are the same. Can a rabbit sleep in a dog's cage? True or false? Okay, so Muhaimin again. Okay, congratulations, Muhaimin. You're still in the leading position. There are people who put true. Guys, you're having fun here. Okay, next question. What is the difference between a shelter and a rescue group? If you all heard the talk precisely, specifically, then yeah, you would have know the answer. Do not fail me here, please. Prove to the speakers that you were awake. Okay, let's see who's leading now. Muhaimin again? Wow. Okay, it shows that he was awake and alive. Okay, so the answers are shelters have paid staffs and also volunteers rescue and almost volunteers. And then shelters keep pets in a single facility, rescue keep in home of volunteers. Let's move on to the next question. What kind of paperwork will I have to fill out at a private or municipal shelter? None? That's what I thought initially, okay? I thought it's a none. I thought just go into a shelter, grab a pet and just come out. But then no, don't ever do that, okay? So we have other three choices. Muhammad, I believe you're still in leading, I believe. Hey, that's true. Muhammad is still leading with 4,630 scores. Okay, so the answer is all private shelters will ask you to fill out an adoption application, okay, to catch you, to chase you around. That's why. Okay, let's go for the next question. Which are correct about animal welfare and animal rights? Think properly, everyone. The prizes are waiting. What will be the answer? Do you know the animal rights and policies? Okay, time's up. I hope you guys had enough time to think about it. Oh my God, Muhaimin. Okay, Amira is actually defeated Muhaimin. Okay, so the answer is Welfare believes that animals are able to contribute to welfare or humans. Animal rights is opposed to any use of animals. Okay, so let's go for the next question. What are current animal welfare issues? Boredom and restrictive environment. I believe that should be the answer because most of us don't have a time management as what Madam Sharmila have said. The pets feel bored. And that's the reason they have created movies like Sing. Okay, time's up. Okay, Amira is leading now and Muhammad is chasing after her. Okay, so it's 5,590 score points. Next question. Wonder who is the winner. What things are important to consider in terms of animal welfare? Proper management, housing, nutrition, disease prevention and treatment, all the above. I hope Kishantini can get a good correct answer in this, since she was so into this nutrition about animals and pets. Okay, time's up. It's Amira or Muhaimin? Okay, it's Amira. Muhaimin, you're going down. Okay. Amira is 6,470 score with the answer all the above. Okay, let's go for the 9th question. 9th question. Guys, answer correctly, okay? Which are or is not the welfare needs? Eat a suitable diet, live in a suitable environment, not be housed with, exhibit normal behavior patterns. Come on, 1 second. Okay, stop brainstorming. Time's up. Samita. Oh my God, Samita and HZ still exists. Okay. Okay, let's move for the last question of the day. Let's go for the last question. Okay, so ensuring animal welfare is a human and collective responsibility that includes consideration for all aspects. This statement, does it falls on true or false? What it will be the answer? Ensuring animal welfare. Is it true or false? Time's up. Yes, wait. Samita is still leading and then hates that. Okay, so the answer is true. Okay, what's with the one person who put false? Okay, so the question have finished. Let's see who is the winner for today. Amira Nuskamita is third place, Hezad is second place, and Samita is the first place. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations. Okay, so to all the winners, please send a message to Vasan to pass your details. The contact details are given in the chat box. And H said, please type your full name and send to Mr. Vasan. Thank you. So, before we end our talk today, let's watch the compilation video of events under Voice of Animals 2.0. You all may exit the game session and please watch the compilation video. It's very exciting.
Hello everyone, my name is 𝘱𝑦𝘦𝘺, Project Director of Voice of Animals 2.0 conducted by Secretariat 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝑥 India. Today we have just visited a lot of animals which deserve more love and care. Unfortunately, there are many animals abandoned and abused by their owners. What can we do for them? We can adopt them and take care of them. You can join us by donating them some money for their welfare. Bank details are stated as below. Thank you.
Well, we hope all of you enjoyed the video. As mentioned by our project director, Mr. Sharveshan, if you would like to support these animals, please donate to the account and kindly send your receipts to the contact number shown on the screen. Your contribution is much appreciated. Thank you. We will wait for a while for any transaction now, and for those who would like to donate later, you can take a picture of the bank details that is shown on the screen. Now we have come to the end of our talk. The attendance form. Sorry. Now we have come to the end of our talk. The attendance form will be given right after the photography session, so please don't leave yet. It would be really nice if you guys could switch on your camera for our photography session and give us your best smiles.
Now I got a hamster for treatment.
Congratulations.
All the way from Shalam. Can see a hamster. Can see, cannot, Kenapa?
Yes, doctor, you can see.
Yeah, Datuk. Very loud and clear.
Bagus. Very bad. Okay, very. Ay, masa.
Sharmila have a dog with her.
Yes, this is one of our.
What's his name?
Her name is Angel. She was rescued last month from a hit and run.
Hello, Angel.
They're involved in a fight,
You always like
First, yeah, right.
One, two, three, smile. Second page. Okay, that's all, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. a good evening.
Okay lah. Good night. Yeah.
Good night, doctor.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Benar, Dato'.
Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you.
Then Silan, keep in touch. Yeah.
Sure, doctor, he will.
You'll forget now. The whole thing is gone. You will look for lah.
No, doctor. Every one of us won't forget you, doctor. 319 people will remember you.
Yes,
Trust me.
doctor. Especially I will remain forever.
Yes,
Yes,
doctor.
forever. Only God is forever. You nak hidup berapa tahun lagi?
Oh my God.
Sampai berapa tahun hidup, I will remember you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm leaving the meeting.
Okay, take care, doctor. All right, that was a nice shot, everyone. Thank you, Madam Sharmila and Professor Valiant, our speakers for tonight. Not forgetting Dr. Subramaniam, Mr. Kashwin, Mr. 𝘠𝘠𝑦𝘴, and Mr. Sharveshan, and also our beloved participants. Dear participants, do not forget to fill in the attendance form by using the QR code shown on the screen or the link given in the chat box. Thank you for joining us today, and we will love to see you guys soon in our future events. Good night, everyone. Stay safe and take care.